thank you to Marjorie for joining, and really excited to work with you over the coming years. And I think I was reflecting on how when you became Lord Lieutenant, Marjorie, I mean, what a time of change in terms of the death of the Queen and appointment of the King and the coronation, which I know has kept you extremely busy for the last couple of years. But also what a huge time of change for Oxfordshire as a county in terms of readjusting in the wake of COVID, the Russia-Ukraine crisis and everything that's meant for the county, whether it's energy costs or whether it's welcoming new refugees. And then now the cost of living crisis, energy, food, rental and accommodation we see really impacting the county. So a huge time of change, I think, for the people who live here. And that's something that as OCF, we've been really focused on trying to support. It's been wonderful that we have just concluded a round of funding of almost £500,000 to really help preserve those community networks that were built up during COVID, some of which sprung into life for the first time, but which we have begun to see falter. And I think, as Marjorie mentioned, it has been particularly challenging for people to keep volunteering when they're needing to return to work or maybe care for grandchildren that they weren't doing, who now can't be in care. And we have seen the volunteer sector really stretched. So something that we see as really important that we can do, and this was the ideal combination, I think, is when OCF pools the funds and the goodwill of many different actors in the county. So whether that's pairing county council funding with those from our donor advised funds and those from reserves from our endowment, really trying to support some of those community networks and tackle the isolation that we know that continues in a county that does have is 70% rural and distributed. Also, we are now just about to close, well, we have just closed applications today on our cost of living fund. That will be £250,000 that we're looking to distribute by the end of August. Sadly, it's been hugely oversubscribed. We can see the hundreds of applications that we've had. And something that we're trying to do to support some of these organisations is funding not only projects that they want to do to support those who are experiencing extreme cost of living, but also willingness to fund their staff time as well, because whether it's that volunteer coordinator or it's the person who's running the daycare centre, we know how important supporting that time is to keep supporting our communities. And we know that that's going to continue. I was really, really pleased to hear Marjorie mention about the importance of us being a really accessible funder. And Marjorie, I don't know whether you said it was an instructive experience. I hope that wasn't too diplomatic a term, but I think that we know for any funder, whoever you are, whether it's the National Lottery or government or the community foundation, always keeping in mind the fact that what our donors want to do is get money out to the amazing, incredible value for money community groups. And we want to make sure that money gets to those who are doing the best work. And that often means making our application processes as simple and streamlined as possible. I'm really pleased to see Claire Hughes, who has just joined us this month as our new Head of Grants and Inclusion. And really her key role is to keep all of us focused on, are we listening to the organisations in need and really delivering funding in a way that works for them and supporting what they're doing. We will be celebrating Giving Tuesday in big style on the 28th of November and really hope that you'll be able to join us. And something we'll be doing there is publishing Oxfordshire Uncovered. And some of you might remember, under Tim Stevenson's tenure, we published the first Oxfordshire Uncovered, which really shone a spotlight on the needs in the county. And often people think, well, Oxfordshire, you know, it's sort of rolling countryside, famous for some of the celebrities and VIPs who live here, you know, is there really anything wrong? But we know that there is not only absolute poverty, but there's also relative poverty of people struggling with some of the highest house prices in the country. So some of the themes we'll still be reflecting on again, whether it's homelessness, whether it's rural isolation. We'll also be celebrating some of the amazing work done by groups over the years and really focusing on, well, what next then, what more is needed. So we're really looking forward to publishing that, and I think that is a moment for me to thank our patrons who very kindly give us unrestricted funding, and that means that we can produce things like the insights in Oxfordshire Uncovered, and have the staff who spend the time going out to meet those grassroots organisation and help advise our generous donors who really want to channel funding their way. I am also very excited about us integrating a focus on the green spaces and nature that Oxfordshire is so full of, and really how we can use those to make sure that the health and well-being of people who live in this county really can be improved through accessing those.